captain and storyteller this morning on board Bell. I want to thank you for joining us, reminding you for your safety to please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, and please supervise those little ones.
Inside the boat.
We're going to go right into the mouth.
Okay, here we go in the mouth.
All right, now, folks, I'd like to introduce you to a friend of mine. This is Monstro. Monstro, I'd like you to meet our friends. Monstro, we meet. We don't eat our friends. Monstro, friends are not a food group. We don't eat them. It's okay. Nothing to be concerned about, because just ahead of us came this little boy named Pinocchio. And what he did is created a fire in the belly of Monstro. Now, this caused Monstro to sneeze so hard that he blew Pinocchio out of his blowhole in his tail, well, completely off. Now, they give us our own entrance into Storybook Land, as well as one whale of a tail. Then over here on the left-hand side of the boat, we have the Cave of the Big, the big bad wolf. He spends all day long trying to get on the right-hand side of the boat. We have the Homes Up, the Fight for the Fiddler, and Practical, better known as the Three Little Pigs. There's a house made of straw, a house made of sticks, and a house made of 100% wolf-proof bricks. And just ahead on the left-hand side of the boat, we have the Queen English Village where Alice lives. That's Alice's house back there on the right with the thatched roof. And when she's not sitting underneath one of these trees dreaming her day away, she'll follow that cobblestone path down to the home of the White Rabbit, and she'll follow the White Rabbit down his hole and start many curious adventures in Wonderland. Over on the right-hand side of the boat, in the center of the canal, is famed London Park. This is where, with the help of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and a little bit of pixie dust, Wendy, John, and Michael flew for the very first time over this very spot. On their way to Neverland, they would never, ever have to grow up. Just ahead of us, the city of Agrabah's, a city of enchantment and mystery made famous for the story of Aladdin. Sitting high on the hill, the mighty Sultan's palace. Down in the front, well, that's the marketplace where Aladdin and Jasmine met for the very first time, where some say Aladdin stole not only loaf of bread and a carpet, he also stole Jasmine's heart. And then it was under these very rose-covered arches that Aladdin and Jasmine took their very first magic carpet ride to a whole new world. I want to remind everyone to please keep your hands and fingers inside the boat as we are about to enter the Cave of Wonders. The Cave of Wonders holds many treasures, and all of them are enchanted. But as Aladdin and Abu found out, there was one treasure more special and rest, and that was the magic lamp, because inside the lamp there lived a genie. Now they say this genie granted 3 wishes, but you guys are only going to need 2 today, because I know one of your wishes already came true when, well, when I became your captain. As we found the Cave of Wonders on the right-hand side of the boat, that's the home to Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Nestled back in the trees there, that's the diamond mine where the dwarves can still be heard whistling while they work. Over on the left-hand side of the boat, you might recognize that French chateau. That's where Cinderella grew up and lived with her wicked stepmother and her evil stepsisters. Halfway up the hill's a bridge, and the bridge you see that pumpkin. That pumpkin was once the carriage for Cinderella, and it did take her to the ball. And at the very tippy top of that hill in the castle with the clock that, well, just doesn't quite strike midnight, that's where Cinderella and Prince Charming still live at today, and they do live there happily ever after. It's amazing what a good pair of shoes would do for a girl these days.
Oh, we're coming back around.
Over here on the left-hand side of the boat, we have a unique patchwork quilt. This quilt's comprised entirely of desert blossoms and was inspired by Disney's Silly Symphony, Lullaby Land. In case you're wondering, all the plants and trees that you see here at Storybook Land, they are real. But they're kept small with a process that's known only to Tinkerbell and a few birds like Disney gardeners. Now, some of the trees here at Storybook Land are our oldest residents. They've almost reached my age, which is 150 years old.
That's fairly old. It's still going.
Just ahead on the left-hand side of it, we have Toad Hall, home to Mr. Toad from the Wind and the Willows. Down at the water's edge is Mole, and that's Ratty's house. Now, Ratty's the caretaker for Mr. Toad, and he is kept busy keeping all 9 of those chimneys clean. Now, parked up front of Mr. Toad's house is normally his car, but, well, I guess on his way to New in particular, he must have had another accident, and it had to be towed away.
Oh, dear.
Once again, on the left-hand side of it, there's those 3 Dutch windmills. The one is center's most famous for keeping all the animals safe during the winter storm in the movie The Old Mill. Then just ahead of some of those beautiful snow-covered mountains, that's the village where Pinocchio and Geppetto live. That's Geppetto's wood carving shop there at the water's edge, and that's where Pinocchio was created, and then later with the help of Jiminy Cricket and the Blue Fairy, He realized his dream of living with no strings attached as a real live boy. As we come out of the tunnel on the right-hand side, that ship anchored in the harbor, that's Prince Eric's ship. That's Sandy Beach right there, but that's where Ariel saved Prince Eric's life and later took their first steps on land. That castle's where they still live at today. And speaking of castles, if you look to the left through the waterfall, you are allowed to catch a glimpse of King Triton's castle. This is where Ariel grew up and where her best friends Flounder and Sebastian still live at today. Well, folks, unfortunately, like all stories, ours must also come to an end. I want to remind you, for your safety, to please remain seated, keeping your hands, fingers, and elbows inside the boat and away from the dock. Then on the magic count of 3, we're all going to stand up together towards the center of the boat for one great big group hug. And that's because I think we've grown that close during our time together. Like all of our characters here in Storybook Land, I hope that all of your dreams do come true, that all of you do live happily ever after. The end.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you very much.